The 9-ball break, those who are great and practice it and analyze it to death will be world beaten champions. Those who are great and don't practice it won't. If someone ever told you that you're trying to make the one ball on the break, that person doesn't know what they're talking about. You don't want to make the one on the break. You can control the one, so you want that one ball near a pocket. This way you can get started on the rack. You don't know where the 2-ball is going. You have no control over it at all. So if you make the one on the break, you're going to have to shoot the 2, and you're kind of cutting loose the control you have over the game. You want to leave the cue ball in the center of the table. You want the 1-ball near a pocket, and you want to make the wing ball. It's 3 things, but the best thing you can do starting right now is to see those 3 things as one thing. For the past week or so, my break has been off and it's not been working the way it's supposed to work, so I took this whole day to do nothing, almost nothing, but work on my break. And it's important to note that I'm only practicing the hard break here. There's about 10 different styles of breaking, and this is just one of them. So I'm going to replay that break and show you a couple of things. So other than those 3 main things, that's actually just one thing. There's 2 other things I want you to pay attention to as I break these balls. And the first thing is how I'm on the right side of the table. I'm 2 diamonds up, right on the line, and I'm 1 diamond in. And I'm breaking on the right side. Therefore, I'm trying to make that right hand wing ball. In that corner down there, I'm trying to get the 1 ball up near this corner right here, and I'm trying to get the cue ball in the center of the table. If you break from the left side, it's the opposite. You want the 1 ball up by the other corner pocket over there, and you want to make this wing ball on this side in that corner pocket. And of course, you want the cue ball in the center of the table. There's one more thing I want you to focus in on, and it's that 9-ball. Do you see how it didn't move at all? It stayed exactly where it was. That's how you know you got a good rack and you hit them solid. But there's another issue here, and it's that back ball. And if you hit them this solid, very often that back ball will hit that bottom short rail and come straight on back and hit that 9, which increases your odds of making that 9-ball. So let's look at that. In this example, the back ball would be the 4-ball, and it's heading right at that diamond. So if we plant the 9-ball, it can't help but to come off that rail and head straight back toward the 9-ball. So we've achieved all the objectives we wanted to achieve. We made the corner ball, we controlled the 1-ball, we have it in front of a pocket, and we have the cue ball in the center of the table. And now we're getting a free bonus of rolling the 9-ball. So I continued to work on my break throughout the day, and I've got the 9-ball planted, and now I'm focusing on getting that 9-ball moving. And in this next rack, you see me break the 7-ball is the back ball. So this isn't my best ever break, but that's not the point. I want you to focus on the 7-ball, the rear ball, and the 9-ball. And this time, I moved to exact center of the table, center of the break. And let's take a closer look at that. And one more time in slow motion. In this example, I move over a ball to the left just a little bit. So this time, the wing ball that we're trying to make is that 4 ball on the corner, the left-hand corner there. And the 1 ball should come up by the top corner pocket. And we also want the 9 ball planted and not moving, and of course the cue ball in the center of the table. Although I don't really get the cue ball in the center of the table and I go off the side rail. And in this case, it's a 3 ball that's in the rear of the rack, the back of the rack. So let's take another look at that. In this next one, I break dry, but it's really not the point. I moved over to the left about a ball and a half from the center, so a little bit more than last time. And I want to see how this plays a part and how these balls break. So you can see how this is like a never-ending fine-tuning system. If I want to break the balls perfectly, and I'm just going to move over to the right and 1 diamond in and 2 diamonds up, and just continue breaking from there. That's what I would do if I was playing a tournament or a match. But I'm still trying to dial in and getting that 9 ball moving. And now I'm a little further over, and watch what happens to the 9. And let's zoom in a little bit on that. Now watch how the 9 ball heads straight to that right hand side pocket right there. The problem is I broke dry. I didn't make anything on the break. So naturally, the thing to do is to move back over toward the right where everything was working and I was making the wing ball, and just forget about trying to roll the 9 ball. But I'm going to push it because I want my cake and eat it too. I want to make that wing ball. I want to get the 1 ball in the right position, and I want to park that cue ball in the center of the table. I want everything. So instead of moving back over to the right, I'm actually moving a little bit more to the left. And this time I'm slowing down my speed just a little bit to see if I can have everything. And there it is. So you want to just run this rack? We'll just spot this 9 ball and go ahead and play it? Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. But this video isn't over after this game. I'll explain it in a second. If I remember right, I shot this really bad. Actually, I shot it good. I think that small rail killed me. It's just, I was supposed to go another rail and bounce in front of that 2 ball, but didn't quite get there. I think that first rail killed the people. But I recover with my good old-fashioned shot making. And from here, I'm back in line, and I mean, this is all basic right here. This would be a good drill. It's all in the break. Promise you. Game gets a lot easier if you have a good break. And anytime I have that chalk in my hand and I don't put it back on the table, it's in my bridge hand right now. That's how you know I'm feeling good. And I'm feeling good because it took me about 3 hours to dial that break in, and I got it. I'm ready to play. I'm just wishing somebody would walk in the door and play. The rest of this video is just me yakking in the vlog format. It's just the audio somewhere in the background of me just talking about the break. If you want to, take some time and listen to it, go ahead. You're welcome. I'm not like this in person. If you're in the same room with me, I'm usually the last guy to say anything. I'm real quiet in person. But on these videos, I get on a subject and I just yak and yak and yak. And the older I get, the more I yak. On video, I'm still pretty quiet person. Usually a guy cracking some half-assed joke if I say anything. It's an interesting subject, and it's received a whole lot of controversy over the years. And so many players worldwide say the break plays too big of a factor in not just a game of 9-ball, but a match of 9-balls, particularly when you get up into the best in the world. And the people who run the big tournaments started agreeing that it plays too big of a factor in a match of 9-ball, and therefore every match, and therefore every tournament. So the rules have changed over the years, and first they changed it to loser breaks, and that didn't quite work out too well. So now most big tournaments are alternate breaks. And the actual rules of 9-ball have also changed. Not just the tournament rules, but the 3 balls over the head string eliminated the soft break. And the guys who had the break down to a science, and therefore the whole game and the match and the tournament down to a science, can't do the things they did yesterday. And it goes on and on and on, and it's a subject that has been argued and argued and argued throughout the years, and it comes down to whoever's running the tournament, goes by their own rules, and all the players have to go by those rules, or they lose. In early and mid '90s, the level of play throughout the world just skyrocketed. It just went up, particularly in America, who are always just kind of slacking behind, us Americans. Back in the old days, just because you broke the dang balls didn't mean you won the dang game. And what happened is America, because we have all the money, we started being invaded by Asians, Europeans, and particularly the Filipinos. And they started coming over and just monopolizing all the action in the tournaments and just winning everything and going home with boatloads of American money. So the Americans are like, man, we can't just let them take our money and go home. But that's what they were doing. So the Americans had to up their level of play to match the Filipinos. So all of a sudden, everybody who walked the face of the earth was suddenly a run-out 9-ball player. It was the only way to keep up. And so the theory was, well, as long as I can keep control of the table, and if I don't have an out, I'll play a safety. But then a guy named Efren Reyes started not just kicking out of safeties, but kicking back safe, or kicking back out of safeties to make balls. So the only option left to control the table was to up your break. And the Americans, decided to focus in on their break. It was their only chance to win. It was their only chance to gain control of the table and keep it. So then it evolved from that, and it was just a thought and, something to do, to whoever breaks is going to win not just the game, but the whole match, because they can control the whole match from the break. So the first thing that happened was a lot of really, really great players that didn't have such great breaks walked away from the game. They had no prayer. They were just wasting their money getting in these tournaments. And then they tried to bring those players back by saying, here, we're just going to make 10 balls. So they made a whole new game and they added another ball. And it made it a whole lot tougher. But by then, all the damage was kind of done. And some of them came back, but not a whole lot of them. And that was it. I mean, everybody was running out. Everybody was an equal run-out player. But not everybody had, this monster break. So only the guys with that monster break were winning these tournaments. And that's how the best of the best kept Efren Reyes in his chair, because Efren has never had the greatest break. This wasn't really working either, because now you just had like 10 guys winning all the tournaments. And everything started becoming predictable. The guy with the break's going to win, unless Efren can outsmart him or outkick him. Then that's when they started putting in rule changes, like 3 balls over the head string, no soft breaks, and then they finally went to alternate breaks, which just means taking turns breaking. And a lot of the fans don't like alternate breaks, and I understand exactly where they're coming from because some people love to see, guys running nine racks in a row. So then some tournaments went to every 3 games you alternate and change breaks. So at least they get to see, guys running 3 packs. Other fans just say, nine ball is dead. It's the players became too good for nine ball. It's just dead. And those players tended to gravitate toward one pocket. And they still play 8 ball in games like that, but they won't play rotation pool. So here we are in 2021, and the game still exists. Maybe not at the level that it did in the 90s and the first 10 years of the turn of the century, but it's still here. It's still with us. It's still the most popular professional game. So if your aim is to play professional pool, then it's here. We're stuck with it. So let's get good at it. And in order you can get good, you can be a run-out player, a great run-out player. But if you don't practice that break, you don't have a prayer. This is part one of a series that's looking like it's going to be a long series, maybe 20 or even 30 parts on the break, which I've been promising my viewers for quite a while now. It's time to start getting on it. And because this is just part one, I want to focus your mental game. You're not necessarily the break, but I want to get you thinking the right way, because there's more to it than just ramming back and hitting balls as hard as you can. And the series is going to cover the 8-ball break and the 9-ball break. And we're really going to dial in on it, because if you can't break, you're not going to consistently win. Again, just keep in mind that it's just part one, and I want you to pay attention to the balls. I'll get into all the physics of your body as you're breaking, what you need to do, what you need to focus on your body, and how to break very hard and very accurately. But that's just one part of it. There's also a medium break and a soft break, and it goes on and on and on. And I want to cover everything. And this is why I hesitated so long. There's so many factors to this. And the table speed plays a factor, the rail speed plays a factor, the temperature outside and inside, everything plays a factor on how these balls are going to break. If you have a tight rack, now if somebody's slugging you, there's not going to be much you can do. But I'm going to show you how to pick out a slug before you break them. I'm going to show you everything about the break.